Hey everybody, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Career Mode with me, REinstein. Welcome, guys and girls. There could be some girls, right? Because you may have stumbled across me while looking for Justin Bieber or something. Anyway, today we're going to be sending a rocket to the moon. Now you might think, well, that's not very interesting. Well, the thing is, we have a couple of contracts here, which is build a new orbital station around the moon. If you remember, we have one currently on the surface. And we're also need to position a satellite in a polar orbit of the moon. Now, the combined reward for doing this, financially at least, is about 350,000 Kerbal credits. Now, let's go to the VAB, and we'll take a little look at the rocket I've designed for this very specific mission. Right, here we go. You might think, what on earth is that weird thing on the top? Well, that weird thing on the top is, if I can just highlight it, a little tiny satellite. So it's more proof of concept. I don't know if I'll be sending this satellite in any different direction to our research station, but it does give me an opportunity to perhaps explore some of the 13 biomes that are on the moon without sending the whole big mothership. That's the aim. As you can see, it's fairly standard, the rest of it, apart from inside the service bay where I've got little monopropellant tanks, some batteries, the barometer, and temperature around the back there. Now, if we go to the launch pad, we'll see how this beast flies. Now, I did a bit of a test flight. I think it flies relatively well. Take a little look over on the left-hand side also, and you can see that in 24 days, we are going to be doing our Gilly unmanned lander mission. The reason I'm not doing that in this episode is because time is money. And we obviously don't want to waste any of those days not making Kerbal money. The more money we have, then the more bizarre experiments and weird flights we can do and stuff. So this should be quite interesting. On board the craft today, we have Lunar and Giltha Kerman, both expert scientists in their field of somethingopathy or ology, or it ends like that. Beginning of the word evades me right now. But anyway, here we go. So flight path's quite good so far. Let's just click on the nav ball. Our orbital velocity is about 420 meters per second. At around about 13,000 meters, Kerbals, you can expect a little deviation towards the right. We'll start doing that now, I think. Alright, now if we turn too sharply, obviously our rocket's going to flip, so we need to be a little bit careful. I think I'm going to increase my thrust right now, just to provide some additional stability as we tilt to the right. Now, remember, we're going to the moon. The moon has 13 biomes, as I've said. I believe I've only explored maybe a couple of them, hence why the need for a massive research rocket. Alright, we've run out of fuel on that stage. Let's just let that one get out of the way. And, oh, we nearly blew it up with our thrust. Something exploded down there. Oh, dear. Poor old Kerbals. Luckily, no one lives near the takeoff area. We've kind of messed up a little bit our flight trajectory, but never mind. I'm sure we'll be fine. We've got a total delta V on this rocket of about 7,200 if memory serves, which should be fine. I don't think that includes the fuel on the satellite either, although we'll soon find out. Now, let's fast forward and get into our stable Kerbal orbit, and then we can work out our trajectory to the moon. Now, what I like to do here is play around with the physics of the game, just so I can speed up our getting towards orbital velocity, which, if you remember, if you're new to the series, or the game at least, is 2,200 meters per second, approximately. Our apoapsis is at about 120,000 meters and climbing. I think we'll leave that there. Alright, now remember, I'm using a bunch of mods. If you want to see the mods I'm using, take a little look below the video in the description, and you'll see that I'm using things like Kerbal Alarm Clock. Let me just turn on my RCS and witness that in action. You can see the little thrusters there. Yeah, using Kerbal Alarm Clock, X Science, Chatterer, which is where you can hear the little Kerbals chattering away on the radios, and the Outer Planets mod. There we go. I think that's good enough. And we'll get to our node in T. Now, node in T, if we do that at about 6 seconds, so we do half our burn before we reach the node and half our burn afterwards. There we go. Let's just straighten that out. And we need a change or an increase in velocity of about 230 there. We're nearly there. And that will do. Let's take a little look at our orbit path now. Orbital path, orbit path, whatever. Periapsis is, what does that say? 114. Apoapsis is 124. Lovely. Right, so all we got to do now is set the moon as our target. And we'll try and get a rendezvous with it. Okay. Now I'm going to be aiming for low moon orbit, with this mission. The reason for that being that I should be able to get science that will be close to the surface of the moon, which I haven't really explored too much. Whoops, let's just expand that a little bit. There we go, it looks quite good. There's our encounter. Turn on our RCS again as we struggle to heave this beast through the vacuum of space. Look at that, we've got a perfect orbital velocity of 2200 meters per second. Don't believe I've ever achieved that. That's rather splendid. Alright, now we need to fly around the planet and aim for a node in T of about 16-17 seconds. Because we're below 120,000 meters, we can't actually speed the game up anymore, as you can see at the top there. Cannot warp faster than 50 times while below 1200 meters. Let's take a little look. Where's Kerbin? There it is. Beautiful. Okay, so we're aiming for 16 and a half seconds would be perfect, but oh, we've just about got enough fuel on this stage of the rocket to complete this burn as well. That's rather nice. A little bit further. There we go. 16 and a half seconds approximately achieved. Now let's get a little bit more of an interesting view of Kerbin. Now I have to be careful with my staging here because that little rocket at the top's going to decouple with stage 0. No, stage 3. Alright, let's add this there then. Dragging that over to 1. Okay, so let's take a little look at our encounter with said moon. Are we nearly there? We've nearly been... Yeah, look at that for an encounter. That's beautiful. Leaving us with 42 meters per second delta V remaining on this stage. And overall 2,683. So let's whiz forward. We're only an hour and 50 into our mission and we're already at the moon. It just shows how quickly you can get there. There we go. So what you can see here is a pink-purple orbital trajectory. That is indicating the contract where we want to get into a polar orbit. So what I'm going to do now is I could have, on my journey to be captured into the gravity well of the moon, so before we got to this point, we could have changed our trajectory so it got this blue line here more in line with the polar orbital trajectory, but we didn't, so never mind. Let's see if we can correct that now. Obviously this is not very efficient, but when is anything REinstein does ever efficient? Very rarely. Alright, now which way do I need to drag that in order to make it so... Hang on, if we do it from here... Yeah, that's not what we want. We want it to go up round like so. And there we go. And we drag that in. And look at that. We're close to getting our polar orbit there. That's not too shabby at all. Let's drag that one that way. Alright, that looks okay. I think we can work with that. Hold on a second. I haven't finished my maneuver. Don't get rid of that. Right, that'll do. I'm happy with that. So again, let's use our RCS and position our rocket accordingly. Look at that. You can see the moon in the distance there. That's beautiful. So this is going to take 411.7 delta V. Quite a significant amount. And here we go. So we may need to eyeball this at some point. Turn off our RCS. Bosh. Okay, at node in T minus 6 seconds, we will be performing this burn. I'm doing this while talking, which is pretty tricky. Could have recorded this and then talked over it afterwards, but I didn't. Hold on a second. What's going on here? Let's decouple that. And fire the engine. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Wasn't sure what happened with my staging there. I was a bit scared. Ah. That's weird. This needs to go up there. And our fairing... can go there. Alright, just changing certain things. Okay, let's take a look at what our trajectory is going to be now. So once this is circularized, then I am going to work Oh dear, I don't like that. That looks like we're going to be crashing into the surface. That's not good. Alright, let me try and figure this out then. So, when we get... If we do a maneuver here... And then drag that out a little bit. No, hold on. Drag that back. See, I'm not an expert, guys. There we go. That's better. So our periapsis will be further above... Oh, that's actually 35,000 meters, our current periapsis. That's fine. Alright, I'm going to carry on with my attempt to get into a polar orbit here. There we go. That's a bit closer. Let's try that. Turn on my RCS. And I'm not actually going to wait till I get to my node here. I'm going to try and change my trajectory from here. There we go. Look at that. That's straightening out beautifully. So we're not far away from getting the desired polar orbit now. I'm going to continue to mess around with this, and you'll see me in polar orbit in a second. Alrighty, welcome back, guys. As you can see, I finally managed to achieve virtually a perfect orbit here, according to what they need. Now, what they want for this particular mission is for this to be an unmanned probe that has an antenna and can generate power. So I think at this point that kind of makes up our mind about deploying our little tiny satellite. So, if we head over to said satellite and deploy our fairing, there we are. And get rid of this stage 2. Fire that back into our rocket. I'm sure the rocket will appreciate that. And there we go. Now we've got control of our tiny little satellite. And hopefully at some point in a second, we will see that we have achieved that contract. So we need to maintain stability for 10 seconds. It needs to have a thermometer, which we have up here. It needs to be able to generate power. And has an antenna. Now, are we missing an antenna? Please don't tell me we're missing an antenna. That is ridiculous if we are. Yep, we are. Damn it, REinstein, what a fail. Alright, well, as a proof of concept, I'm happy with what we've achieved. I'm not happy that I forgot a freaking antenna, but, you know, these mistakes happen. Yeah, now if we switch back to our main rocket, we can begin to put that in the orbit that we wanted, which is a close... quite close. Now, the surface of the moon is, I think the highest point is around 5,000 or 4,500 meters. So I'm going to aim for, hold on a second. I'm going to aim for an altitude above the surface of around 5,000. Get as close as possible and get as much science from the different biomes as I can. Now, I might actually play it safe and aim for 9,600 actually. Right, let's do that. Let's begin our movement around the planet. And really disappointed and slightly put off and embarrassed that I forgot a antenna. But there you go, swings and roundabouts and all that. Apart from that, it's been an almost perfect mission. Right, there we go. That's where our periapsis is going to be at 10,210 meters. Now, if we drag retrograde and get the apoapsis side at about the same height, 12,000, so that's 11,000, and a periapsis of 10,000. Not too bad. That's pretty damn close. Right, now I'm really interested to see what science we can gather here. But first of all, we must complete our maneuver, lest I forget exactly what I'm doing and I'll probably overrun the time and all sorts will go wrong. You know what I'm like. I'm very forgetful. I think I'm getting dementia or something. Right, we're nearly there. Look at that. We're flying right across the surface. Could we be any closer? Hopefully it doesn't decide to suck me into the vortex and kill me. That would be very troublesome and we'd lose 2 scientists. I'm sure everyone back home in the Kerb lab will be very pissed off with me. There we go. Alright, burn is almost complete. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay, now let's bring up our X science thing. So now you can see that one thing in particular that we haven't got while in space near the moon is a materials study. So let's go in. I'm slightly worried that's not... Oh yeah, it is while in space near the moon's midlands. Okay, that's fine. Right, let's open up our service bay. Can we change the camera here? Yeah, that's a bit better. Is it? No, that's a bit weird. Ah! We're flipping out! No! Alright, let's right-click that. Observe the materials bay. And... Ooh, so we can generate 390 science just from that one thing. That's rather good. Alright, now, if I want... I need to reset that, so I'm going to EVA one of my Kerbals. And get him to let go. Alright, mate. Now, I have managed to get a Kerbal stuck inside here before. Inside this little service base. I'm going to need to be a little bit careful here. I don't know if I showed you that on video or not. Let's hope not. Okay, let's restore the Science Junior. And now fly back to our ship. Now we're keeping relatively close so we don't lose control of the ship or the Kerbal. There you go, mate. Grab onto that. There we are. Lovely. Board yourself back in. Let's take a little look at what they can see. Oh, we can't. Alright. Interior overlay activated. Oh, cool. There's the interior of the mobile processing lab. That's pretty damn sweet. Okay, now basically what I wanted to do was reset the Science Junior so we can observe it again and then just beam that data back to Kerbin. So that'll give me an immediate 21.9 science. Oh yes, on board this ship as well I have altimetry sensor and the multispectral scan, so that's probably not going to work because we're so close. We may need to change the orbit. But I'm going to deploy it anyway, just so I don't forget. Here we go. Let's extend these solar panels so we've got enough power to... Ooh, what's this? Verbo's simulation log. I've never seen that before. That's pretty neat. Wonder what that does. Okay, where's my other solar panel? There it is. Extend the panel. Okay, so we're still over the moon's midlands. Let's take a look here. So we should be near the pole very soon. Keep an eye on... There we go. Now we can do an EVA report while in space near the moon's midlands. Sorry. Let's EVA here. EVA report. Gather that. Jump back in. Review our data and process that. Another 125 science. I suppose we ought to start them researching because otherwise it's going to take forever to get some science from this. And currently the rate is at 1.39 science per day, which I'm quite happy with. Let's continue flying over. Oh, here we go. EVA report while in space near the moon's poles. Now we're going to give Giltha Kerman a turn here to do an EVA. Gather that. Board. Review our data and another 125 science will be ours. Now, what I should have done really is EVA them again. Keep that and then beam that back. I'm going to have to do that with the with all the different biomes, I think, as well. Let's beam that back. Another 20 science. Brilliant. Cool, look at this. Wow, look how rocky the moon's poles are. Jesus. Not like Kerbin's poles at all. Oh, we missed one of the biomes there. Near the moon's polar lowlands. Alright, let's gather some more data here. EVA report. Ah, we just missed it. Alright, well, not to worry. We've achieved what I wanted to do. We've got a science laboratory in a ridiculously close orbit. Look how close that is. You can still see Kerbin and you can still see the sun. And I'm assuming this is not going to plummet towards the surface. It should be stable at this speed. 556 meters per second. Brilliant. So I've achieved my objective. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me again for another exciting episode of the REinstein's Kerbal Space Agency. Take care. See you very soon. Bye-bye.